Hey guys, Marla here with Life with Marla Joe. Just wanted to come on and tell you about a video that I saw. It is about insurance. I made a video a couple weeks back about insurances. It was Medicare or Medicare Advantage plan, but I was basically talking about authorizations, and this happened to one of the nice little ladies that I watch on YouTube. Her name is Liz, and her channel is Life Adventures. I think it's Liz at Life Adventures with Liz or something like that. I apologize if I botched that, Miss Liz, but she um, it's basically like, don't assume that your doctor's office and the insurance company have everything handled for you. Like I had said in the previous video, you as the patient actually need to be diligent and try to make sure that everything is in line before you ever go to for your radiology appointment. So her what happened with her is her doctor had ordered her to have a CAT scan, and she assumed that the radiology department, the insurance department, and the doctor's office had all of their ducks in a row. A couple of days before she was scheduled to go to the appointment, the radiology company, department, whatever, called her and said, no ma'am, you cannot come and have your CAT scan because the authorization is not here. Her particular insurance that she had did require an authorization for the CAT scan. So she got on the phone and she called the insurance company and asked what was up with the authorization. They explained to her that they did not get everything that they needed from the doctor's office. And so she turned around, she called the doctor's office, and I have sent her a message and told her, you need to make sure, like whenever you talk to the doctor's office, you always ask for the authorization department, because those are the people there that work on getting those specific things for whatever it is your doctor ordered for you. Um, she said they were kind of rude to her on the phone, and I'm sorry for her for that. I mean, it just kind of upset me for her. But then they wound up getting the correct paperwork sent over to the insurance company, and then by then the insurance company decided, well, we're going to deny it anyway. Why? Because hello, it's not medically necessary. And 9 times out of 10, this is just a paper pusher, like I used to be, is what I call them when I worked at the. If you watched my any of my previous videos, you know that I used to work at the hospital here in my little town, and I did inpatient pre-certs. I also did surgery insurance authorizations, and I used to work in the scheduling department to where radiology department to where I made sure that authorizations were attached to the paperwork before a patient ever came in, because why, we want continuity of care. I sent Miss Liz a message and told her to get on the phone and have her doctor do a peer-to-peer review with the insurance's doctor. The insurance companies always hire, like RNs and doctors that can, the two doctors can discuss the actual medical necessity of what a patient needs done. I told her to do that. I don't know if she's done it or not, but I just, it was so frustrating to hear her, because now she said, well, I've just kind of given up on getting the CAT scan done, because she does have some other medical issues, but I'm not going to get into that because I'm not sure if that's a HIPAA violation. Even though she actually put it out there for all the world to see, I'd actually have to go back and Google that to see if that's a HIPAA violation. I don't think it is, because she put it out there. But anyway, I'm just sharing her story. So, basically what I'm trying to say is, the reason a lot of times that things like that happen, I mean, it's no one person's fault. The authorization department people that work at the doctor's office, depending on how big your doctor's office is, might be seeing a doctor that's in a big, huge town, and they're in a network, and there's like 20 doctors all in this one medical complex. And so you have all of these doctors sending all these orders down, and the nurses have to make sure everything's done. But then they get to the authorization department, and I mean, they basically have to make sure that your diagnosis code is correct to match what the doctor's clinical notes said. They have to make sure that the CPT code, that the kind of test that the doctor is ordering, matches. And if all of that doesn't correspond with what is in the clinical notes, the insurance company, hello, is there to make money. They don't care about you. None of the insurance kids care about you. They're there to keep as much money in their pocket as they absolutely can. So if they see anything come across, a request for an authorization, they're making sure, looking for definitely the, oh, I'm sorry, that I was not dotted. Oh, here you go, that T was not crossed. So guess what? We're not going to authorize it, and they're just going to send it back to the doctor's office, and then they're going to mail you out a denial letter. It may or may not even get to you before your scheduled test. And then, of course, a fax comes across at the doctor's office, and a lot of people pick it up and just put it in the incoming fax thing. And unless that authorization worker there at the doctor's office is on their toes, they may not remember all of a sudden that, oh, I got to go check for Mr. or Mrs. So and so to see if I got anything back, because I have this patient that's coming up with this test, in 2 or 3 days. And it's just a rigmarole. But everybody's overworked. I guess basically what I'm trying to say is there are, a lot of moving parts, and every handoff's an opportunity, of something to fall through the cracks. It's no one person's fault, but don't just assume, you as the patient, that everything is being handled. Don't assume, well, okay, the doctor ordered the test, and you made the appointment, or they made the appointment for you. And that everybody's doing their job. And when you're sick and you're frightened, excuse me, because you're dealing with a serious medical issue, and you don't really understand the inner workings of what goes on behind the scenes. So I'm just basically trying to impart some knowledge to us people on the outside now. I'm one of those on the outside now, but because I worked in the industry, I understand how it all works. And if you are, as the patient, are not 100% sure what to say or do, well, just ask a family member, ask a friend that you trust with all of your information, to get on the phone and talk to all these people. I mean, most of the time, you're going to get people that are helpful. And because all you need to do when you talk to your insurance company is ask, well, exactly, if they say, well, we didn't get all the paperwork, well, what paperwork? Did you get the clinical notes? They always need the clinical notes from the doctor's office. Does the diagnosis code match the symptom up to what the clinical notes say? And therefore, number 3, does the test that's ordered match what the diagnosis code is for what the clinical notes say? If they don't, well, then of course the insurance company is going to go, aha, we're going to deny that. But and so I'm just basically trying to say, be diligent, and try to make sure that you take an active role in your own care, because I always hated it when I would see that patients, like this lady, Miss Liz, she's not getting continuity of care, and the doctor's office and the insurance company should actually really and truly be focused on that. But like I said, they've got thousands of people that orders and paperwork that comes through constantly. So Basically, like write down, like when you talk to someone, write down who you talked to. Was it at the doctor's office, and who you actually talked to, and how to get back in touch with them, their direct line, if they can give you their direct extension. Put the date and time when you talk to them. Write down exactly what they told you. Ask always for the authorization number. That's your main thing. And when you're talking to them, either at the doctor's office or especially the insurance company, always ask for a reference number. And then if you have access to where they can email you or fax you all these things, then get them to do that. I'm talking copies of letters and denials and paperwork. If you can actually get a doctor's office to mail you, or fax over to you, or even if you go up to the doctor's office, you will have to fill out a medical records request. Ask them to give you copies of all of the paperwork, of the clinical notes, of the order itself, and everything that they're faxing over to the insurance company. Take it upon yourself to actually, if you can, if you're able. Then I know it's a pain in the booyah, but come on. Don't you want your test? Don't you want to know what's wrong with you to help, to try to help you get the care that you need? It's not easy, but anyway, I guess that's what I'm basically trying to say. So, you got to learn to just try to be your own advocate for your own health, because, and I hate to say it, but that's just to me, that's the way that it is, and I really do hate to say it. But again, I just wanted to impart this knowledge. If you like this kind of content, or if you feel that I've helped you, well, just send me a message, comment below, and let me know. If you have any questions, and I'll be more than happy, to answer as best that I can. Well, all right. God bless, and ta-ta for now, and see you later. Hey guys, Marla here. P.S. I left something out yesterday, and I probably should have put it in. When you get ready to call the insurance company, look on the back of your insurance card, and there's going to be like some numbers. You're looking for the customer service number. There's a customer service number and a provider number. You're not the provider, you're the patient. So when you call the customer service number, they may or may not ask you, are you a provider, a hospital, or a patient? And you tell them you're the patient and you want to speak to someone in the authorization department regarding a test that you have coming up, and then they should send you to the correct department. And when you talk to them, they're going to ask you for your ID number, your name, your date of birth to verify who you are. They may or may not, they used to, but they may or may not ask you for the last four of your social. And then you just tell them what you're looking for. And then once you discuss your issues, you ask them for their first name and the first initial of their last name. They're never going to tell you their last name. So like, say you talk to Mary S, or Joe B, that's what they're going to give you. You ask them for a reference number, and if they've got an authorization number or a pending authorization number, have them give you that. Ask them for the dates. What are the dates good through? The dates are good through, this month, this day, this year, through blah, blah, blah. They're normally good for a year. And let me see if I forgot anything else. I don't believe so. And then, again, ask them to email you if they can, or fax you over if you have access to a fax, what have you. All of the paperwork that you may or may not need. Like normally when they do an authorization, they fax or they email. More often than not, they fax. Back when I had my work at work, they would fax it, but I had a fax line that came directly to my computer, so that as like an email, and then I could click on that and open up all the documentation and print it out, whatever I needed. And then that's when I'm going off topic here, but that's when I would scan it into the patient's account. and everything. But yeah, so I kind of left that out. So hopefully that helps you. Okay, ta ta for now. God bless.